Hope you're doing well. In today's video, we'll continue to focus on a stock in news and use price action to determine if we should trade in the direction of the news or if we should trade against the direction of the news. And of course, there is always this safe alternative of doing nothing. So let's just look at the stock in news this time, which is Hindustan Unilever. HUL, the team basically reported to the exchanges that they expect extremely flat growths. That is a growth in single digits, 5 to 6%. And they have passed on the entire benefits of GST. Almost half of their products, almost 40% of their products are now in the 5% GST slab, and they have passed on the entire set of benefits to their consumer. The question is this positive or negative? Of course, if they are not realizing those margins, any analyst would view this as a negative news flow. Also, the fact that the management is not even talking about early double digits, and focused on low, flat, single digit growth rate, or believe that's what they're going to experience. This news flow is obviously negative. So the question is, what do we do about this newly acquired information? So we repeat the process that we have repeated several times in the past, and which in my view is simple and very logical. We will first, since it's the first time that you and I are looking at the HUL chart, perhaps together, perhaps the first time, we'll always start off with the monthly time frame. And the only thing we really want to focus on is what was the last pivotal high doing. And that is an all-time high. We can clearly see that the 3000 high that HUL hit earlier in September last year, was actually the all-time high of HUL. This previous high that HUL had formed, this is somewhere in 2021 at 2800, is basically where the famous trader and social influencer Akshat Srivastav bought HUL after checking the PPT. So the trade didn't turn out too good for him, but that's besides the point. So here we'll see that the previous high was an all-time high, and this all-time high, of course, signals that this particular stock is in an uptrend, because this low that the stock is forming right here, this is a double bottom. And so in other words, this is a range, but the bias is on the upside because of this high formation. So we do not take any sort of price action lightly. If there is a monthly closing or a monthly high dominating over the previous high by almost 8-10%, we'll assume that high had genuine reasons for it. And of course, after September 24, the entire market corrected, and HUL was no exception. It corrected more than 25% in this fall, and it has been in this range now for quite some time. So we have the general view. The general view is that we are going to trade on the long side. The reason is that this is a security that has created an all-time high, and that's the rule. If a security creates an all-time high, we don't short it. So which means we either long it or we simply choose to do nothing. Now that work has been done, we just have a look at the weekly charts. The reason is that once we know that we are looking at a range, we are trying to see if we can find certain tradable patterns in a range. And if I look at the weekly chart as of now, this stock is comfortably behaving within its range. There is nothing too exciting happening here. There's nothing too scary happening here either. I mean, this stock is just behaving how this stock is expected to behave. So let's move on to the daily. Just yesterday is when the HUL management announced this on the daily. So now what we are seeing is that we are seeing a deepish pullback. So that is to say, from this level 2750 right here, we are seeing that the market has corrected. Just if you focus on the price action prior to this, this is somewhere around 15th August. This is the GST announcement, and this is when the GST rates are going to be cut, was announced. The stock obviously moved up, and since then it has come back down and is at gap support right here. This is the gap support where the stock kind of finds itself. And now I'll obviously remove these ranges, because now the work about these ranges is done. And then when we see that where this gap support is formed is actually a historical resistance. And so the stock is actually at a very, very strong support at this point in time. Of course, it's also highly oversold, and we are seeing a sort of a divergence in this also. So for example, if I simply select a trend line and I join these lows here, just for ease of assessment, I'll also draw a vertical line here and a vertical line pretty much here. And if I join the lows from here, so it's obvious that there is a divergence too. In other words, we are looking at a stock which is currently ranging, but it has a long bias. It is extremely oversold, and there is a divergence on it. All of the selling that has been happening on the stock has been happening on low volumes, and these high anchor bars that we see were former resistances actually, which now look like they're going to behave like supports right here. All these anchor bars. So I would think that HUL is basically a stock. I mean, it's based on what I'm seeing right now. I would think that HUL is a stock which is waiting for some kind of a confirmation. And if there is a confirmation, I think that despite this news flow, where the management itself is saying that they don't expect to see high growths, I think that this commentary maybe was factored by Akshat's position back in 2021. I think that this stock is more likely to trend up from here. It's always difficult to call out a low. It's always difficult, but I think that if there is a gap down on Monday, then all of a sudden the potential of a low increases significantly, because a gap down candlestick can easily reverse into forming a bullish counter attack or a bullish engulfing or a morning star. If it opens flat, then it could become a bullish harami potentially. If it gaps up, I think it doesn't really form any particular candle right away. So we'll actually have to see. We'll have to see on how this stock behaves on a Monday. But it looks like it's a stock which is looking like it's a bullish stock, ranging currently with divergences. And I think any active trader would simply be waiting for some kind of a confirmation on the stock to take up a long position. And by active, I mean those traders who are open to trading ranging charts, because this is obviously not a trending chart. This is clearly a ranging chart. And the hypothesis would be whenever you would buy, you would expect it to take out 2750. But they're subject to many confirmations that are still due in the market. So interesting week for HUL traders. I hope that this video has been useful to you. Thank you for your time and patience.